Hi folks, this is DIY Germany. My name is Lars. Welcome back. So as to this chicken coop here, the plan is to have this ready for the chickens to move in by Christmas, which is maybe a little ambitious. I don't know. We'll see, find out. But, well, see. That's how slippery it is. Anyway, first order of operations, caulking, because it's nice out today. And after that, I'll take care of some of the interior. And let's see where it takes us this week. Actually, I ran out of caulk. Oh, that was close. Ooh. Did I ever mention this workshop is too small? So it was finally time to get to the nitty-gritty part of this build. Caulking. Well, I'm not sure if it was even necessary, since the walls are going to be covered with cladding. After all, it's just a chicken coop. But I went ahead with it anyway, and that part didn't take too long. Right, almost done. It ain't pretty, but you know what. And so won't the chickens. But actually I ran out of caulk. Here's where I ran empty. So, except this door, everything's done. If you watched last week's video, you might remember that I had gotten a pile of pallets, and now was the time to take some of them apart. I tend to cut away the sides, because there are loads of nails in there, and the boards have a tendency to split when pried apart. That was close. This way I have pretty clean ends on the boards, and I'm only left with the nails and the centerpiece, which are not too hard to persuade to let go, with a couple of solid whacks. Taking out the nails is kind of a tedious task for most people, but I actually like this part. And of course, I have one of these metal detector thingies. You know, I do like my tools, and I like my blades, especially on the thicknesser planer. And it's a real bummer whenever I ruin them, using the machine as a nail finder, as you will see in a bit. That's why I like to be thorough. This whole process can be somewhat satisfying to a degree, and yes, it does take some time, but then there's the reward of having a bunch of wood to work with. Okay, so here's the yield. There's way more than I need for the coop, and I'm very happy with this. One or the other cracked board, but nothing a little glue can't fix. So that took me, I don't know, somewhere around 2 hours. 2.5 max. Was it worth it? Well, you be the judge of that. What do you think? The blades on my thicknesser planer were pretty dull. I knew that, and one can easily hear it when it's cutting. Not to talk about the visual aspect, as obviously there's quite a bit of tear out then. So I decided to take them out and maybe sharpen them. Oh. That's done. Or just turn them around, since, at least on my model, the blades have 2 cutting edges. Ooh. Yep, that's a pretty bad nick. How unfortunate. The other side was still okay, so I turned it and put it back in. I will have to get myself a new set of plates though. By the way, here's my planer bed. A good and simple way to reduce snipe to almost nothing. Now, here's my setup. Room is so small, I have to do the whole thing diagonally. And, well, I gave the floor a quick sweep. If you have any workshop furniture you want to move around, don't buy small casters. Anyway, right, so over there are the boards, and now it's about to get noisy and messy. Yeah, so PPE time. And when it comes to planing pallet wood boards, I actually only clean up both sides and don't care too much about thickness or slight twists for that matter. If need be, I can still take care of that later. Now, just in case you're wondering why I didn't have the extraction cover on the planer, it's because of this. I only have a simple shop vac, and that can't handle these shavings. It works for light passes, but this only clogs everything up, which is not fun. So no cover it is, and it only takes a few minutes to clean that up. I pretty much have what I need now. More than I need, and instead of giving these boards one straight edge with a track saw, I'm going to jump right into glue ups because I need to prepare stuff for building our chicken ladder or slash ramp. And yeah, so that's what I'm going to do next. First glue up were two pieces at around 2 meters, which would be 6'7"-ish. The stringers for the chicken ladder. I cleaned the sides up and had to open the door for that. Oops. Did I ever mention this workshop is too small?
Oh, really?
No, this is 82, maybe 83 mil, which is 3 1/4 by 48, which is 1 7/8. Okay, not that it matters, but that's what it is. So I'm inside now. And as you can see, and I need to take some measurements, and I made a list because I need to follow a certain order of operation. And so it says first thing will be the sitting bars. There's going to be 3 of them, and they're going to be staggered, like in different heights. Second, I need a way to mount them, because when they go in that direction, there's a window here, and I can't mount them to the wall right here. So, yeah, and it's probably a good idea to have them stabilized somewhere in the center as well. And then there will be boards. The boards will sit on this end, and they'll go maybe that deep all the way up, except in the middle. That's where the ladder lands, the chicken ladder. Although that lands somewhere here in the center, and they will have to step to the left somehow. I'll figure that out. And there's the ladder itself, and I need to do something with the doors. I don't know if you can see that. There's a gap right here, or anyway, all the way around. and I'd like to have that closed. And besides that, I need a way to lock them, but that's not that urgent really. And well, last thing will be lighting. We're gonna fix that up there, and then we're more or less done. And I'm quite confident I can get that done until Christmas Eve. Alright, so I have two boards here. That one is going to be part of the trim for the door. These are brackets for the sitting poles. So that's what I'm going to start with now. I'm going to get this in. Alright, it's Christmas Eve morning, and I just realized that the way I had planned on building the entry, the chicken ramp, the ladder, is not going to work. Not like this. See that one stick? It's in the way. So I just gave this some thought, and I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut this here and have it supported down here in between, and then I'm gonna cut this anyway, that was the plan, and have it supported here. That way I can take this part out, the ladder will land here, and they can turn left and get on the boards and then on the bars. Yeah. And my wife requested to have one more board on this end to close this gap. Hey ho, let's go. Actually, I've never built a ladder before. Or maybe we should call it a staircase. But I figured it can't be that hard. I found the angle for the rungs using a level while the stringer was still sitting on the bars in the coop, and then just spread them evenly, marked and cut. After a quick rub with the orbital, the stringer's got a clean chamfer. And then I went to my leftover pallet pile and picked some poplar boards for the rungs, or steps. Alright, so my wife and I had a brief chat, and we talked about the interior, and actually now we're pretty happy with how this turned out. Let me show you. Now, as you can see, the ladder is done, or we'll call it staircase, whatever, ramp. So the chickens, even when they're, I don't know, handicapped or something, yeah, see, this is how they're gonna do that. They just jump on it from the side. So, are you gonna walk up and take a look inside, darling? Go ahead, sweetie. Yeah, nice. Hi there. Not that this chicken understands English, or German for that matter. Alright, anyway, so we chose to take this bar out that was here, the sitting bar, because it just gives the chickens way much more room to jump up from here, and well, there's always traffic when it gets dark, so I guess that's a good idea. And there's enough, more than enough room, that's plenty on the bars, and yeah. And I also took out this support that went right across here and put a piece of wood in between here to support this. So the only thing missing now as to the interior is a board, a panel that goes in here to close the gap, and yeah, that I can do at any time. So as to my ambitious plans, I guess I'm more or less done. There's two things that are not done yet, and that's first of all a lock, a way to lock the doors here, hold them in place, and of course lighting, which is going to go somewhere up here. Also, what you might have noticed is that the boards here, the steps, they're still rough sawn, because it doesn't make any sense for the chickens to have them planed. They're only slippery then. So besides that, they're gonna be full of mud in no time anyway, and chickens are not really known for using the toilet. So yeah. Alright then, here it is, lit up like a Christmas tree. And yeah, I already told my wife that we're gonna need some proper lighting. And as to the lock, here it is. Cool, huh? Yeah, just kidding. Of course there's gonna be a proper lock. But I need a break from this project, so hold on. Right, Mr. Monk. Much better. There's still work to be done on this coop. A few touch-ups and, of course, the cladding, which I will take care of soon. So, if you're still here, how about you subscribe, so you won't miss that? And, of course, a thumbs up and comments are very much appreciated, since that tells YouTube that this video is worth watching. Thanks. And yeah, 3 chickens slept in the new coop right the first night. How cool is that for a start? Right then, folks, Merry Christmas, be safe, be good. Until next time, cheers.